Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came From the Page. And today we're doing something a little bit different, and that's because there is a sale coming up, the halfway to Black Friday sale by Vinegar Syndrome, which is happening next Friday, which is May 27th and going on that entire weekend. And I thought, hey, now would be an amazing time to do a series of recommendations for Vinegar Syndrome movies and Blu-rays you might want to pick up. Yes, I know, it's normally, this is normally a book channel, that's why it came from the page, but I thought that I would try this out, see if people are interested, and just kind of share my love for some of these movies, because Vinegar Syndrome is a cult Blu-ray label that has a lot of really interesting and unique titles under their belt, and a lot of very fun, bizarre horror films that you don't find anywhere else. And because they do all their own restorations, Vinegar Syndrome movies always look gorgeous. But because they're not a huge Blu-ray label, some of their movies do go out of stock. So I went through my Vinegar Syndrome collection, and also I double-checked to make sure that these are in stock. Just so if you are interested in buying some of these Blu-rays, you know how many of them are left to go and grab them. Now, the stock counts are going to be the stocks as of me recording this video. I'm recording this video on the 19th. To be released today, hopefully, we'll see. The sale is on the 27th, so the numbers may be different by that time, just so you are aware. If there's something here and there's low stock, maybe you want to go and pick it up early. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. These are in no particular order. These are just 13 films I think that you should check out during this sale. Starting off with Deadline. This movie has about 550 left in stock. This is very much a Canucksploitation movie. Very, very Canadian, and it's a bizarre movie. It's all about a writer, about a horror novelist, and that is something that obviously is going to be something that will immediately interest the people who are viewing this channel. So I had to open with this. It's about a Canadian horror artist who reality kind of starts to blend and weirdness starts to happen. And everything kind of mixes together in this very interesting, unique, creepy, bloody, cheesy Canadian horror film all about writing. So Deadline is great. Next up, Christmas Evil. I know it's Christmas, but Christmas Evil is one of the best movies. I love Christmas Evil. There are about 822 of these left in stock. This I got at a thrift store before I started buying from Vinegar Syndrome. So that's probably, I think somebody switched the cases on this, because as you note, most of Vinegar Syndrome has clear cases. When I bought this, it had a blue case. So I believe that happened because when the place I bought it from, they switched the cases for whatever reason. But it is the actual Blu-rays in here, and this is the actual original thing. One thing to note, a lot of times these movies have slipcovers. So if you go to their website, there are slipcovers and there are just the normal Blu-rays. I'm giving you the counts for the normal Blu-rays, not for any of the slipcovers. I don't care much for slipcovers. They don't really make a big deal for me as far as me purchasing movies, so I don't. So I'm just giving you the amounts for like the normal Blu-rays that I have. And I will let you know if there's any differences as we go along. Christmas Evil, if you've watched Slime and Slashers, which is Kelsey from Slime and Slashers, her channel, during the Christmas season, she had a big thing about whether or not everyone should watch and love and admire Christmas Evil. And I love Christmas Evil. I think Christmas Evil is really, really amazing. And it's one of the best Christmas horror movies, up there with Gremlins and, of course, Black Christmas. This one's a little bit different. This is a psychological horror film. It is all very much set in New York, and it's so fascinating. And it is always something I like to watch with eggnog and just sit down. And it's one of my Christmas traditions is to always watch Christmas Evil, because it's so unique and disturbing, and it's like about a man who's like convinced that he's Santa Claus and slowly going like down and down into his like degradation. And the commentary for this actually has John Waters on it, because John Waters once said this is one of his favorite Christmas movies. The commentary is very funny because John Waters is like, I don't really remember. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I must have said that just randomly in an interview, but he has like so much fun watching it. So it's like him kind of rediscovering his love for this movie at the time. So I really thought that was fun. And anytime there's more John Waters, who can go wrong? So there's 822 of that left in stock. Uninvited, which currently has about 950 left in stock. This is a killer cat movie, which, as you know, close to my heart. I love me and my kitties, so of course I'm going to recommend a killer cat movie. This is a killer cat movie where there is an evil cat living inside of a normal cat, and the evil cat comes out of the cat's mouth and kills people. Yeah, it's a cat and a cat, but the normal cat is fine, but the evil cat that lives inside of the cat is the one that's bad. And it is just as crazy and bizarre as you are led to believe by my description of it, and it is glorious. Again, this movie, I would say Deadline and Christmas Evil are like good movies, are pretty great movies. This one is a very cheesy movie, so I would say go in with the expectations that it's like a very bizarre, quirky movie where a cat inside of a cat kills a bunch of people on a cruise ship. So just be aware. I love this. I think it's very fun. Just be aware it's a sillier one. One of my favorites on this list is next, and that is Night Beast, Don Dohler's Night Beast. This one has about 843 left in stock as of this video. This movie is 100% a big ball of cheese, and it is so fun. As you can see, the design of this creature is amazing. So this is basically a movie where a creature just lands in the woods, in this backwoods community, and it's an alien, and he just starts killing people. And it is so lo-fi. This is from a Baltimore-based filmmaker, and I love it. I love all the characters in this. I love the world it creates. There are a lot of things that, when you watch this movie, you will either be very, very charmed by it, or you will want to turn it off after 20 minutes. So be aware. I think there are some great kills in this, actually, surprisingly enough. There's some pretty fantastic and really entertaining effects as well. Just be aware. This is a cheesier movie. I think that it knows what it is, though, and I think I would never call something a so bad it's good movie. I would call it a movie that's great because it knows what it is, and this is what Night Beast is. Very aware. Next, praise the movie gods and Vinegar Syndrome because they gave us the glorious movie of Spookies. Spookies is a movie that for ages was only on VHS and never made the jump. So when Vinegar Syndrome got the rights and did a huge restoration of it and gave us a beautiful Blu-ray and did a amazing special features on this, there is a huge feature-length documentary all about the making of Spookies, and I was so happy to find this. Spookies is a movie that's very, very hard to describe. Basically, a bunch of people go to a mansion, and then a whole bunch of crazy stuff happens. There is a deluge of very gorgeous, meticulous special effects, and a whole bunch of different effects teams create a whole bunch of different looking creatures that kind of menace the people inside of this mansion. One of my favorite releases Vinegar Syndrome has done, especially with that amazing documentary, which I think is just as good as the movie itself. This is a very, very, very goofy movie, but it has a lot of very unique and bizarre sequences in it that make it a must-watch. I think Spookies, of the movies I'm going to recommend, Spookies, if you're just looking for a Monster Mash film, you gotta check out Spookies. There's so many special effects in this movie, and you're always amazed by what they're doing, what they're trying to do, why are they doing what they do. There's so many questions that it asks, and it's really fun. And you find out from the documentary, it's like the making of it is kind of interesting because it actually kind of is two movies put together because one of the directors got fired and got replaced, and the whole bunch of different script choices were made that he wouldn't have made. So it feels as disjointed as it is for a very good reason, because there are kind of our two directors in this. It's a very interesting film. The special effects and, of course, that making of documentary really, really make this a much buy. So I would definitely recommend that. There are over 1,000 left of Spookies, so there's no we're not worried about that one. The next one is Unmasked Part 25. It is a British parody of Friday the 13th movies, but it's not really a parody. This movie is basically if Jason had a midlife crisis, and it's very funny. The gore is very well done, and the storyline is sometimes pretty emotional. There are some sequences, for the most part, this is a pretty silly movie, but there are a few sequences of real emotion in this that I was very surprised to see. And it is a comedy, but it's so much more than just being a parody. I would put this up there with my favorite Friday the 13th movies just to watch, because I just think it's such a unique and interesting and out there take on this. The comedy and all the scenarios in this are very, very British. So if you know anything about British comedy, just be aware. I know that's not for everyone. It is a very fascinating film. I'm not sure how many of these are left, because when I looked at the site, it still allowed you to add the original on the cart, not the slipcover. The slipcover is definitely sold out, but the original did not give me a count for how many copies they had left, which was surprising, because that was the only case in this video that I clicked on something. So I hope this is still available. As you notice, mine is still in the wrapping, and that's not because I haven't watched it. It's I watched it before grabbing the Blu-ray, and I watched the movie and was so floored that I had to go out and get my hands on this Blu-ray. So I meant to actually watch this during Friday the 13th, but I didn't. But yeah, that is really, really, really good. The next is a 4K release of Beastmaster, which is a Don Coscarelli film. If you don't know who Don Coscarelli is, his most famous work is undoubtedly Phantasm and the Phantasm series, where there is a tall man played by Angus Scrimm who says the word boy a lot. He goes, boy, boy. I love Don Coscarelli. Don Coscarelli has an amazing autobiography that I definitely recommend you check out, called True ND, Life and Death in Filmmaking. And that is a wonderful, wonderful a book. And for ages, I don't remember what comedian, but for ages in the 80s, there was a running joke that was HBO stands for Hey, Beastmaster's on, because this movie was all over the place in the 80s as far as being on HBO all the time. So this is a sword and sorcery movie where Beastmaster pretty much befriends a bunch of cool and cute animals, and it's amazing. As far as I can tell, it doesn't look like anything bad happened to any of the animals on this set. All the animals look like they're treated pretty well, which was very nice to see. And this is a very unique sword and sorcery film. This was recovered and redone in 4K by Vinegar Syndrome. This box is sold out because this is a limited edition box. And now just the normal 4K is on their site. And again, over 1,000 left on that. But yeah, if you're a fan of sword and sorcery and you haven't seen Beastmaster, or you haven't seen Beastmaster in a very long time, I would definitely recommend this. Again, we have a huge array of special features on this, and a lot of really fascinating info to be found. A huge documentary, again, is on this as well, that I would say is up to the quality, and maybe even a bit surpassed the quality, because it's a better movie than Spookies as far as the content in that documentary goes. Gorgeous, gorgeous transfer by them, by the way, and I absolutely love Beastmaster now. One of my favorite sword and sorcery films, and a beautiful box set, so I definitely recommend that one. Next is something that is actually replacing one of the other movies I had on here, because that movie was sold out. So I went through my collection and thought something else. And next month, I know, again, referencing Kelsey from Simon Slashers, she's doing a slasher month. So I will be watching a bunch of slasher movies, so I thought I would go back and maybe give this one a rewatch. And that's one of my other recommendations, which is Graduation Day, which is a very, very early slasher from 1981, very early in that reign of 80s slashers and where the genre would go. I love this movie. It is very fun. It has some great kills in it. The slasher elements are very well executed. This copy here only has about 208 left, but there was a slipcover released, a new slipcover put out, and that one has over 1,000 copies still available. So this is one of the very rare scenarios where the slipcover has more available than just the normal one. But I love this movie. It's a slasher movie from the 80s, early 80s slasher movie. It's very micro budget, and it does a lot of unique things to try and like make the most of the budget it has. But don't be expecting like Scream when you watch this, right? Like this is in the era I would say this is probably like later Friday the 13th if you're looking for quality. Like I would probably say like Friday the 13th Part 3 is probably like a good way to kind of measure the quality of this. I do still think this is worth watching, especially if you are a slasher head and you are a fan of slashers. And like I said, next month there's a whole slasher thing going on. So I think I'll probably rewatch Graduation Day because I quite liked it. Next up, we're reaching the end here. Is Don't Panic. I love this. This is a Mexican horror film, actually. And this is pretty much a ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street, but done in such a unique and interesting way that it definitely, I would say, surpasses that level of just saying, like, oh, this is a ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street. First and foremost, look at the dinosaur pajamas this man has. Dinosaur pajamas make it great. This movie is very interesting, very unique. I really did love it. There's a few other Mexican horror films that they have released through Vinegar Syndrome that are also worth checking out. I just love Don't Panic, so that probably would be the number one that I'm going to recommend. Again, very cheesy slasher film, but it has some really inventive special effects sequences in it, and it's definitely worth watching. And Don't Panic has over 800 left. So I think it has 802 left. So it's pretty good as far as the availability on that one. Next is a box set. Mainly this is a box set. So this is the box set of Homegrown Horrors, Volume 1, which includes Fatal Exam, Beyond Dream Door, and really the reason why I'm recommending this, a movie titled Winter Beast. I actually love the way that Vinegar Syndrome does their box sets because their boxes are really cool. None of these films are available solo as of yet. I don't know if they'll ever be available solo. These are all micro budget films made in a very, very, I would say, unique ways. Because a lot of this is because they don't have a lot of money. They do things in their own way. Winter Beast is my favorite of the bunch. A very independent film from the time. This one's actually from 1992, but you won't believe that it is from the 90s if you watch this movie because it very much feels like it's mid-70s. They are this is a movie that doesn't have the budget to do all the things that it wants to do, but it doesn't let that stop it. It does it anyways. There's stop motion in here. There are men in suits in this movie. And to describe this movie might be impossible. It's about 8mm and 16mm, and weird things are happening in a small town, and it's hard to describe what happens in this movie because crazy things just keep happening every 5 seconds. The plot is nigh incomprehensible, but you're always enjoying everything on screen. The acting is very, very amateur, and the effects, I think, are what really kind of brings you through to the end. But the filmmaking style is very unique, let's just say. I quite like Winter Beast. The others in this set are not bad. Fatal Exam is like a slasher-ish film. I had fun with this, but it definitely was not my favorite of the bunch. And then Beyond Dream's Door is the last one in here. It's a weird one. It was fine. It was pretty good. It's not bad. I don't remember as much about that one. The problem is I watched Winter Beast first and was just spending the rest of my time in shock trying to comprehend reality again. If you're looking, because I know Garb August is coming up, which is Criminality's event, Garb August, and there is a what the fuck week, which is the end of that Garb August, where it's like a movie that makes you question reality and it makes you very confused. If you're looking for a film that could represent that, maybe check out Winter Beast because it's good. Another one with over 1,000 in stock. I think it's probably because the other two on this are not as great. They are fun. I enjoyed watching both of these, but I think Winter Beast is by and large the best of that bunch. So that might be why there's plenty of these left. The last one that I'm going to do, which is a little extra one, is because I love AGFA, which is a partner with Vinegar Syndrome, so you can get a lot of AGFA releases through Vinegar Syndrome. They specialize in like straight to video stuff and like very, very weird movies. There's a book by Bleeding Skull by Dan Budnik and Joseph A. Ziemba, which is called Bleeding Skull, a 1980s trash horror odyssey. And that's there's a whole bunch of AGFA releases in that because AGFA really does go above and beyond for cataloging some of the very unique and trashier films in that regard. And I wanted to recommend this amazing collection of trailers. So this is called the AGFA Horror Trailer Show. I don't know how much other people enjoy these, but I love trailer compilations, and especially when they're like put together really well and really properly. And I think this is one of the best horror collection as far as trailers go, and it's all wrapped together in a very nice package. It's edited really well. They put little bumpers between certain trailers, and it's all grouped well, and it all flows well, and is like the perfect party movie. And what's amazing is this also comes with a bonus movie, which is the AGFA Horror Trailer Show Video Rage, which has a whole bunch of trailers for things that were all straight to video, and it's similarly amazing. I love AGFA. This one is one of the lower stock items, 413 left. Definitely recommend it if you're at all interested in trailer compilations. So yeah, that's it. I have taken you on a little trash odyssey through some Vinegar Syndrome collections. And like I said, not all of it is trash. Saying trash odyssey is a little disingenuous. There are some really good movies in the Vinegar Syndrome collection, but as a whole, it is kind of a cheesier website. And then the May 27th, they have like a big sale for their halfway to Black Friday sale, which I am planning to go and take full advantage of. Some of the things I'm interested in, I think I'm probably going to have to get the Severed Arm, TC-2000, which is a Billy Blanks Terminator 2 ripoff, Primeval Lurkers, Blue Vengeance, probably another slasher movie, Bloody New Year, it's supposed to be pretty good, Beyond Evil, Creature, and then there is they just did New York Ninja, which is a movie that has never been released ever, and they pretty much finished the movie, because it was this unfinished movie, and Vinegar Syndrome remastered it all and finished it, so I'll probably buy that. Those are the movies I'm looking most forward to through the sale. Do you like Vinegar Syndrome? Have you ever used Vinegar Syndrome? Is this the first time you've heard of them? Let me know in the comments below. And, just so you are aware, like their website, it's pretty good to go on. Just go on. But just be aware, they do sell adult films there because they do also archive a lot of vintage adult films as well. I'm not that big into adult films, especially of the vintage era, but I know tons of people are. So no shade if you are. But just be aware if you're going to go in and scroll through their website, there are like adult films in their catalog. So just be aware of that. Thank you guys, and hope you guys have a great day. Bye.